So it's important to do a soybean stand count so you know what actually came up versus what you thought you seeded at planting. It can be useful to do a stand count in the spring, so at the V2 to V3 soybean growth stage, and then perhaps again in the fall at the R8 growth stage. This would be after the soybean leaves have fallen off, which makes it a lot easier. I use this chain to mark a certain length of row. This chain is 17 feet and 5 inches long. So when I have soybeans planted in 15-inch row widths, like I do here, I count the number of plants on this side of the chain and then also this side of the chain, because this represents 1/1000th of an acre. So the number of soybean plants added together on both sides of the chain multiplied by 1,000 is the estimated number of plants per acre. So it's a really easy way to gauge number of plants per acre. This does depend on row width. So if my row width is 30 inches, I would only count the number of soybean plants on one side of the chain, because that would equal 1/1000th of an acre. If I have drilled soybeans, so soybeans 7.5 inches apart, I would count soybeans on two sides of the chain, or 2 rows on one side of the chain and then 2 rows on the other side of the chain, because that represents 1/1000th of an acre. So again, these rows are 15 inches apart, so I count the number of plants on this side of the chain and this side of the chain. So on this side of the chain, there were 14 plants. Then I'll count the other side. There were 36 soybean plants on this side of the chain. So 14 plus 36 equals 50 times 1,000. We would estimate the stand here is 50,000 plants per acre.
It's important to do a soybean stand count. A stand count at the V2 to V3 growth stage will help you understand how well your planting program worked. You'll also see if emergence was reduced due to any biotic factors, such as disease or insects, or abiotic factors, such as crusting or waterlogging. A stand count just prior to harvest at the R8 growth stage will give you an idea if you are within your target range for plant stand based on your planting date. In our research, we count the number of plants in 1/1000th of an acre. Within a field, you would need to take this measurement from several areas to get a representative idea of stand. The length of row that needs to be counted depends on the soybean row width. For soybeans grown in 7.5 inch row width, count the number of plants in 69 feet, 8 inches of row. In 15-inch row width, count the number of plants in 34 feet, 10 inches of row. For 30-inch soybeans, count the number of plants in 17 feet, 5 inches length of row. Multiply the number of plants by 1,000 to estimate the number of plants per acre. For example, if your soybeans were planted in 15-inch row width and you counted 130 plants in 34 feet, 10 inches length of row, we would estimate the stand to be 130,000 plants per acre. In our research, we use a chain that is 17 feet, 5 inches in length. We place the chain between 2 rows of soybean. Here, as an example, the chain represented by this black line is set between 2 rows of soybean that are set 30 inches apart. If you count the number of plants on one side of the chain, circled here in red, this area represents 1/1000th of an acre. So if we counted 130 plants here in this row, we would estimate the stand to be 130,000 plants per acre. Similar, in 15-inch row width, we lay the chain between 2 rows of soybean. and we count the number of plants on two sides of the chain, this side here and this side here. Counting the number of plants on two sides of the chain represents 1/1000th of an acre. For example, if this first row here had 60 plants and this row here had 70 plants, that would total 130 plants. We would estimate the stand is 130,000 plants per acre. Here I'm showing plants in 7.5-inch row width. In 7.5-inch row width, count 2 rows of soybean on each side of the chain to represent 1/1000th of an acre. So here we are showing 2 rows of soybean and 2 rows of soybean. We would count all 4 of these rows to equal 1/1000th of an acre. That total multiplied by 1,000 would be the estimated number of plants per acre.